All right, guys. So it is 4:05. Thank you for being here. You are in Blackverse, and I want to encourage everyone here who is a part of this room here in Clubhouse to go ahead and follow the club if you are not already. And I also want to encourage you guys to stay tapped in. I also want to ask that you take just a quick moment and ping some folks into the room. If you have some people that you know would be delighted in this conversation, as delighted as I am, please go ahead and have them come into the room, share it out on your socials, or share it with folks in your clubhouse hallways and things like that. We definitely appreciate that. So, welcome to Blackverse. Today, we have a special guest. Every Saturday, we choose someone from our community who is doing great things and doing things in this space. And today we've chosen one of our very own, and that is Olayinka Odeniran. And you may all know her as Yinka. And so Yinka is definitely a friend to both myself and Natasha. She's a friend to this space, and she is a friend to Blackverse. So we are extremely excited to have her here with us, and just being able to share in this conversation today. So for those of you who aren't familiar, Yinka is a woman of many, many, many talents. We are going to go into a lot of those and just kind of get to know her on a different level. Yinka is a cybersecurity expert. We're going to dive into that. She is also an artist. We're going to dive into that. And she is a woman who is operating here on the blockchain and empowering other women to have a voice in the space. So we are definitely tapping into that. So thank you guys for being here. If you are listening in, this is happening on Clubhouse. If you are unfamiliar with Clubhouse, just go ahead and download that app from your favorite store. So your Play Store or your Apple Store, you're going to be able to download the app. And then once you get here, search for Blackverse, and you will be brought right into our club, and you'll be able to connect with us for all the things that we are doing every single day of every single week. We have something going on. I am going to post the link to our Discord here in a second, but Yinka, welcome to the stage. Thank you for having me. I am certainly excited. We are also joined on stage by Natasha. Natasha, welcome. How are you today?
Doing well. Happy to be here.
Awesome. So I don't want to waste a single minute. We are right at about 8 after. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Yinka, I described a few of the things that you do. Can you tell us a little bit, what is your formal title and what are some of the businesses that you operate?
My formal title, wow, okay. So, starting with blockchain, I'm the founder of Black Youth Blockchain Council, which is a benefit LLC that was created in 2018 to promote blockchain in our African diaspora community. Educate us about the technology, raise awareness about the technology as well, and promote Black women in this space. Since then, we've actually been doing a whole host of things, which I'm sure you're going to ask me questions about. My other title is I am a cybersecurity consultant. I've been doing that for around 5 years now. And before being a cybersecurity expert, I spent over 15 years as a compliance professional. My last role was a chief compliance officer before I jumped into cybersecurity. And I was compliance and risk management, so it allowed me to transition very well into cybersecurity. Those are my titles. I'm a business owner. I'm a blockchain enthusiast. I'm a supporter of the African diaspora. I'm a mom as well. My daughter made sure that I made y'all know that. I'm a mom to a wonderful 12-year-old. And I'm excited and nervous to be here, NiKole.
You have no reason to be nervous. We talk every single day, but this is I think something that's a little nerve wracking. I think for all three of us.
Okay,
it's a
nice little overview. So.
Thank you. Go ahead. Go ahead, Natasha. I'm sorry. I'm talking on mute.
No, go ahead, Nicole. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was talking on mute. I was saying, you have no reason to be nervous. We are three women who do talk every single day. But this is a little different, and I think it's nerve wracking, I think, for all three of us, just because it's a little bit more formal than what we're used to. We're used to kind of hanging out and being just us, and this is different because we're on stage, and we got Yinka in the hot seat, and so I kind of like that. um so we are going to enjoy today's conversation for sure, but I do want to kind of give you your flowers, just because you are somebody that I would actually call a pioneer in the space. We do call all of us pioneers, but when it comes to kind of paving the way for folks, you are certainly doing that. And one of your latest initiatives is the International Women in Blockchain movement, which we are going to talk about in depth. But first, a little bit more about cybersecurity. Um, what drew you to that? What actually caused you to gravitate towards cybersecurity?
Yeah. First, I'm going to clarify the reason why I'm nervous is because I've done a host of interviews with reporters and stuff, but this one, like you mentioned, it's like I know you guys, right? And I know there's going to be like some intimate information that I need to disclose and all these things, and I'm just not used to that, right? Even though I'm on Clubhouse and I somewhat use my full name, I thought by using partial and not the entire Olayinka out there. I was still trying to be anonymous to a degree, right? To a comfort level. So that's where, I want to transition into why I got into cybersecurity. So, it's funny because, what is it? Some years ago, as a chief compliance officer, one of the things that I needed to do was be in, work in conjunction with several different departments within the organization, right? Because if something goes wrong and it happens to be something that my department was supposed to catch, then I'm on the line, right? So I've always had an opportunity to work with the tech um, department and the IT department, really, and be able to help facilitate or create policies and procedures to help them, right? And so there was a time that cybersecurity started becoming really big. Even though in compliance we were already focused on cybersecurity, we had the whole clean desk policy. You have to shut off your computer and all these things. And I remember like traveling and being that was one of the things that we always check. Like even before people get into the office and after people leave the office, we want to make sure that they apply the whole clean desk clean desk policy. And so, um, the SEC started saying that chief compliance officers needed to be aware of cybersecurity and they need to start implementing this and working with IT. And I'm thinking, well, I already do that, right? But the more I dug deeper into, exactly what they were looking for, because they give out a couple of guidance, I was like, you know what, this is an opportunity for me to go back to school, even though I told myself I would never go back to school. So I went back, I got my master's in cybersecurity policy and management. And, after that, it was just like, you know what, I'm ready to fully transition out of chief compliance position and into cybersecurity. And the good thing is I did not have to start all over again. I actually was on the same even kill because the role that I went into was more of a certified information security manager. I got the certification. That kept me on the management level, so I didn't have to start all over again, which was a great transition for me. And being in cybersecurity, it's like it opens your eyes to a whole host of things. And for the longest time, like I've always kept myself like behind the scene and never really disclosed myself or who I was. And even though I was doing a lot of stuff that made the businesses um, more public, and I just chose to not really be out there. It's not until last year that I guess by stepping outside of my personas and coming out more and having a lot of opportunity to be in the news and all these things and press releases and even on Clubhouse disclosing what I thought was a comfort level. And it's weird because I'm seeing my full name right now. I'm still like uncomfortable with it on Clubhouse. But yeah, so it's like, I've always kept that anonymity to some degree. But last year just happened to be, you know what, I want to fully step into this. I want to be to some degree doxed, right? And let people know that, I'm not about playing around in this space. I really want our community to build upon the technology. And, people can Google search me, right? When you Google search me, you see where I'm tied to. So I'm not, someone that is flaky or someone that's only here for, specific intended reasons and that's it, right? I would say that, being in this blockchain space, it is kind of personal as well, because as I mentioned, I have a 12-year-old daughter. I want her to be able to be in an environment where people that looks like her is also going to be in that environment. So that's why I'm always pushing STEM. I'm always pushing technology and definitely, advocating for our community to be all in with this technology.
Man, that's awesome. I want to tap into something that you said, and that is kind of how you've transitioned over time. So you've taken your different roles and you've pivoted really into kind of this cybersecurity role, and turned that into consulting. How does Metaversible fit into that? Because I know you are also with Metaversible, and I want to make sure that gets out there as well while we're talking about security.
Yes. Oh my God. So I've known Mark. I've been like a secret fan of Marcus for like a minute, okay? I've had opportunities of being on, podcast with him and a mini stage with him, and he's always been cordial. And I've reached out to him a couple of times, knowing that he's busy, didn't really gotten like steady responses. And so it wasn't until I saw him in your room back in the day, right? The previous room that you were in, or club, I should say. And I was like, hold up. I'm doing a double take, right? And I'm like, really at that point, like a big fangirl. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, it was a geeky moment for me at that point. And then I realized, like, the people around him don't know who the hell he is. And so I had to jump on stage and be like, yo, guys, this is Marcus Gary. Like, of all the things, like, in the Black community, we got people, okay? And when, like, those people or anybody, is in close connection with, other people that are making moves and doing things. And, I mean, this man has, like, sold countless of books, Tribe of Hackers, which is a very popular, book within the cybersecurity community. He's also written children's book to help them code and get into cybersecurity. He's sold so many different businesses. It's like, yo, y'all got to get to know this man. So I remember coming off mute and like giving him his kudos, and we connected. And he was like, yo, Yinka, I didn't know you were here. I was like, yes, I've been here. And, he said he was starting off, a crew of cybersecurity experts as well as software engineers in this space. And he wants to see how he could, bring his expertise into making sure that this space is secure. And he asked me to come along. I was like, how freaking yeah, like, what? Yes. I mean, this is a guy that sold several businesses, right? He's created startups, sold them for like ridiculous amount of money. He's gained popularity by, putting his whole intellect and experiences back into building tools, right? So yeah, this is an opportunity to really tap into a group of people who are trying to do something for this space. And I said yes. And so I joined them as a part of the Metaversible team. Metaversible is a group of cybersecurity experts, Marcus calls us unicorns, that have come together to create tools and platforms to help navigate through the space a little bit safer, right? We're focused on Web3, NFTs as well. So we're building tools that can ping you when something nefarious is happening with your account or your wallet. There's a current tool right now on what is it, Chrome extension that you can download and use, and it's going to alert you to. It's called Metaversable Watch. Alert you to nefarious, what is it, NFT pages or NFT accounts or collection accounts that are out there, and a countless number of people have fallen for. So if you're looking for what is it, OO's droid, right, and the androids, the Afro droids, and you happen to go to another site on OpenSea that says what is it, Afro droid pics or something like that, and that's not the correct one, what the Metaversable Watch will do is alert you that that's the wrong one. So you'll see like something pop up and let you know that this is not correct. You have the option of ignoring that warning or actually taking heed to that warning. So, simple things like that that's needed, but, aren't out there. Getting a notification on your wallet or something nefarious has been happening. We're not always connected to our wallets. I think that's something that's awesome. Also building, platforms, like we're going to have our own marketplace, right? And you want a marketplace that's security oriented, right? I mean, that's the biggest issue with OpenSea right now. That their security focus is like non-existent. They're all about making money, and they don't care who's scamming who, right? So yeah, that's how I got, with the Metaversable team, got connected with Marcus, and we're just building.
Yeah, Marcus is a very charismatic person, and I one day will tell my story of how I got connected to Marcus. But for now, we're going to keep the focus on you, Miss Yinka. So thank you for sharing that because it's important. Security is something that even as you're talking here, you're giving out great tips for people to kind of apply to their kind of everyday purchases and transactions that they're doing here on the blockchain. So tell me a little bit about the early days of Yinka. Like what were you doing before cybersecurity or before risk and compliance? Like when you were a kid, were you that person who like were you a hall monitor? What were you like when you were younger?
Oh my God! When I was that nerd. Okay, look, we need more black nerds. Okay, we need people to be proud of being a darn nerd. I was that kid that would. I loved math and science. Okay, that was my thing. I loved reading as well too. So, growing up, I was always the kid with the nose in the book. I was always the kid that. Okay, I'm about to date myself, but we had encyclopedias. Like I begged my parents to get me encyclopedias. Okay, was really excited about the encyclopedias and would always go and grab one just so I could learn some more. And it was just my geeky moment. I love math and science. And I think it also had to do with my background, right? I grew up in an African household, Nigerian. And, even though my mom only had like a high school education, she was always adamant about, her kids having more than her, right? And the thing is, this lady knew math like I don't know what. So if you could get things right, you were going to get things right. She made sure. So like math and science was my biggest thing, the experiment, everything. And yeah, I was that nerd. I was that nerd. I got an opportunity like in high school. I actually two high schools. One of my high school was a magnet school, and I was doing so well that my science teacher actually what is it? She I'm at a loss for words right now. She encouraged me and also advocate for me to get to become part of the Howard Hughes internship program. And this was like junior year in high school, and I was picked had an opportunity to actually work with a research, because I wanted to be a doctor, y'all. I wanted to be a pediatrician, okay? And I had an opportunity, and my major was going to be chemistry pre-med, okay? That's a different story. Anyways, had an opportunity to be at NIH. I was an intern, and I worked for NIDDK, which is the National Institute of Digestive Diseases and Digestive and Kidney Disease. And did research on I forgot. I forgot how to pronounce it now. But anyway, so did a couple of research with some old head scientists, and I thought this was my life. I thought this was gonna be what I wanted to do. They called me back. They wanted me to actually work in the lab, so I got a chance to work in the lab, and then I started thinking, like this would be cool. But then I started seeing like all the scientists, their life revolved around their experiments, right? It was just like, okay, I don't know about this. I gotta go home. And then to go back to why I changed my major, so it was second semester junior year in college. I said, you know what, enough is enough, right? It was, I can see it now. I was in chemistry lab, coming out of the science building, and it just so happened that the science building on the way to the business building. So I'm coming out of the chemistry lab. I've been there for like 4+ hours, right? You can't really wear anything nice. You have a lab coat on. It's stained. It got holes in pockets. Like, you can't be cute, okay? And I got jeans and sneakers. And I'm looking at this group of people walking with their Armani suits, looking nice and fresh and all this thing. And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell am I doing? When you're like dealing with chemicals, like you just don't feel like yourself anymore until you go home and take a bath, and it's just like, and even then you still smell the chemicals. And I had to take a long and deep evaluation of what the hell I want to do with my life, right? Do I want to stick to this, or you know, um, change pathways? And mind you, my mom didn't want me to go, because I left home. I said I wanted to be as far away from home as possible. I'm in Boston, and I'm what is it? Not that far away from graduating, but then I'm thinking this is a critical moment for myself. Am I going to make a decision that's beneficial for me, or am I going to do something solely because this is what's expected of me, because I've advocated to do this, right? So I decided to just make the decision that's best for me at the time, and I decided that I didn't want to be a chemistry pre-med major anymore. It was a hard decision. It was one that I had to figure out how to break it to my mom. And eventually, everything worked out well. I no longer saw myself as working in a lab or being a pediatrician. And after that, changed majors, talked to my counselor, change major, and the quickest thing that I could do without adding more years was become an English major, right? So I said, you know what, I'll do that. Kind of feel like being an English major is kind of like a throwaway type of thing, but it just happens to be something that it works, right? And yeah, like my first job out of college was working for a financial company, State Street Research and Management, which no longer exists anymore. But yeah, that was the first one, and since then, been in the financial industry for a minute, and then that's when I decided to change to cybersecurity.
Man, Yinka. So, you're telling me that if you hadn't had that epiphany that day, if you hadn't had that moment where it's like, what am I doing? That we would not be here having this conversation. And I think that that's kind of cool, because there's something like that in everybody's life. I think you always come to a crossroads where it's like, I could do this and I might be amazing at it, but I could also go do this and I might be amazing at that too. And it's always interesting, like where those different paths will take you. So one thing that you have not mentioned yet is really your art. And before we go there, I want to just say, thank you guys for being here. It looks like we have a whole lot of family in the house. So if you are here for the first time, please do tap into the house at the top. Please do follow Blackverse because we do this every week. We present someone in our community who's making a difference or who is providing value or who has a new drop to present. And we do this every week, and we will continue doing this every week, above and beyond Black History Month. So that is a staple within our community, and I do like to make sure that those people who are being highlighted have an opportunity to do, or doing great things, have an opportunity to do so. With that said, today we have with us Yinka. She is a pillar in our community. She is a friend to our Blackverse family, and she's here on Clubhouse. So we know that this is one of our major hubs for Blackverse. It's here on Clubhouse, but we also have Discord. And so and a lot of other communities now, but specifically Clubhouse and Discord, those are the two main places where you are going to find us. And Yinka, you have been here on Clubhouse for a while, but can you tell us a little bit about your artwork and how you got into art inside of all the things you've already told us? So you kind of told us the progression from kind of your arts and sciences, or from science to the cybersecurity and risk and management into cybersec. So what does it look like for you? What does art mean to you? How did you get started with art? How long have you been an artist? And then what does this space specifically mean to you?
Wow, what does art mean to me? Art is finding means to express yourself, right? And I always feel like those who are really artistically inclined have like I believe it's their right brain that's like wide open, right? That's just where it flows and everything. I've always deemed myself to be like more of a left brain individual. I'm more analytical and all that stuff. But it wasn't until like these few years that I decided, you know what, I'm just going to be free, right? I'm going to express myself. I'm not going to stress myself or try to be too analytical. And so, even though most may not consider it art, but I think in a way it allowed me to open up my right brain was when I started, getting interested in having my own garden, and my own vegetable garden. So I went through the whole process of having a garden bed built once I purchased my house, and planting and trying to figure out what I want to plant and all that stuff. And like it was awesome, right? I went from a black thumb to a green thumb after I left my job and in the transition phase. And I got to experience that whole process, getting my hands dirty, working with the soil and planting the seed and all that stuff. And then it really started to flourish when I came on Clubhouse and got to connect with a lot of people. So like the first series of art, if you guys happen to be inclined into my open sea, which some of those phases were just crazy and out there, but it was more garden focused. So I had like plants and vines and all these things all over the place, right? In different NFT pieces that I had. And then over time, I decided to go into bow ties. And I really like bow ties. I think they are artistic in nature, right? They're different. And one thing that I like is that when people are being unique and being themselves and not conforming to what others assume that you should be, but you're being your original self, right? And not giving a fuck. So I kind of equate that with bow ties, right? Because bow ties, it could be so elaborate and expressive, and it could be dull, but it's not a tie, right? Like it's a special type of person that wears a bow tie and feels comfortable with that. So I started creating like all kinds of bow ties and stuff like that. So I have those pieces out there. And then I graduated to like other apps. And I have to say that, it statistic that actually introduced me to a few of the apps that I started using. And she helped me out in trying to figure out like some of the, application and how they work and stuff. So she helped me out with Fresco, and my latest arts work have all been on Fresco. So I've done a few that are just expressive, like whatever comes into my head. I'm like, oh, maybe let me try to see if I can draw that, right? And so the latest one that's been on Fresco is like it's called the Nucleus, and it's on Solana. And the Nucleus is basically it's a play kind of on words. The visual that I'm looking at, it's a play on words because there's like a bubble, and within that bubble is a child, right? And the nucleus is like the original, the cell, that one single cell, right? That bursts life, right? And so in that bubble is a nucleus, the child is a nucleus. So I was just that was me, I guess, combining both my left and my right brain and trying to be geeky with the art and stuff like that. So that's out there. But like for the longest time, I wouldn't call myself an artist, and it kind of felt weird with you calling me an artist. But I appreciate it, right? Because sometimes we need to step into something in order to feel that comfort in it. And there's several great artists out there, and within our community alone, we have fantastic artists. And in the family, I'm not the artist. My sister is the artist. She can sing, draw, paint, everything. Okay, and I definitely give that to her. But I guess I would give myself the geeky. So I'll take that.
Ain't nothing wrong with being a geek or a nerd. Thank you for sharing that. I have posted your Holoplex up at the top. That is your Solana gallery for folks to cruise through. That is going to have the Nuclei collection that you've put together, and so people can kind of see what you're talking about and share in your artwork with you. Natasha, you are here on stage too. I know you were excited for this interview, so I want to give you an opportunity. Did you want to tap into Yinka, kind of the questions or the information she's put out so far?
Well, the questions I have aren't really all that professional or technical. They're just kind of like, silly little get to know you questions, so we can get to know some other sides of Yinka. So are we ready for that section?
I mean, go for it. I can always steer us back where we need to go. Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh my God, NiKole,
they're just silly questions, Yinka. They're not really any intimate, private, deep, dark, secret questions. Okay.
All right.
Okay. So let's see. What was the first job you ever had, like as a teenager? Your first job outside of the house?
Okay, so my first job, as I said, I'm a geeky person. My first job was the NIH lab, honestly.
So you were at school? So when you were at college, that was your first job?
No. It was at school. Like, it was after junior year. They hired me back. So during the summer, that was my job. The lab assistant.
Wait, hold on. So you worked at the National Institute for Health as your first job?
That was my first job.
Good Lord.
That was my first job. So I was sheltered. We were all sheltered. So when I'm like 6 years older than my youngest brother at the time. I have another younger brother who I'm 12 years older than. But yeah, so we were all sheltered. We weren't allowed to go out or have kind of like a social life, right? So yeah, that was my first job. I didn't get to work anywhere else, but that was my first job.
Okay. So you were sheltered. You didn't get out much. But as an adult, have you been to any concerts? Have you gone to any shows?
Yeah. Oh my God.
So, what is the best concert you've ever been to?
DMX. I went to the Rough Rider show that came to Boston, and that was when oh God, Lil Wayne and what was the group that he was with?
The Hot Boys. The Rough
yeah,
Riders?
like when Lil Wayne was like 12 or 13. Okay. Yeah. Like,
okay. What was your favorite song at that concert? What was you really hyped to?
Rough Riders. I mean, come on. Come on. Yo, that was the song. But I went to the concert because a girlfriend of mine happened to be dating an associate, like part of his entourage, DMX's entourage. So, we got to go backstage, got to see,
VIP Yinka.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
With her NIH badge, she went right on in there.
Throwing himself at him. But yeah, so it was fun. It was an interesting night.
Okay, all right. Let's see. I feel like you're pretty well traveled. If there was any place in the world you could live, where would you live?
On an island. Seriously, my daughter is yelling California. But seriously, I want to be on an island. I want to be close to the water. I want that sea salt smell. I want the wind in my hair. I want the sand in my feet. I want to be able to dip my toe into a clear water. Like, I want that. Okay, that is where I'm meant to be.
Okay, I like the island too. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's say there's going to be a biopic made of you, right? Who would you pick to play you?
Wow.
No pressure.
Okay. What did you say?
I said no pressure.
I know, right? Who would I play? This is a good question. Okay, so when you say who would I pick? I'm already thinking of who do I think I look like the most, and so I'm short like Jada Pinkett, so she came to mind. I would also, what's her name? Oh God, she was in the not sister, the show where she had a stepsister.
Sister to sister?
Yeah.
The one.
Oh, either Tia or Tamara?
No,
not sister, the other one.
The other one. It was like older. They were older.
I know who you're talking about, and like they found each other, and yeah.
It's the younger sister.
Oh, her name starts with an E. I forget her name. Yeah.
She was Marlon.
Yes.
Wayne. She stars with a show with Marlon Wayne, just to let the audience know.
Essence Atkins. Yes.
Yeah, Atkins. Yes. Yes, her.
Go, Natasha. Go. Good job.
I just got two more little quick questions. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, if you could meet anyone in history, what historical figure would you want to meet?
Wow. I never really thought about that, really. Like, I never thought about meeting someone in history, but there was always an era that I felt like may have worked better for me. Like the 1920s, for some reason, I felt like I probably would have really enjoyed that era. But I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. I haven't really thought about who I would want to meet in history. That's a good question. I haven't thought about it. I have no answer. I'm sorry.
Well, if you come up with it before we're done today, you can always chime in. So last question from me is, what do you think is the biggest misconception that people have about you?
Ooh.
It depends on what level you know me, right? I think, so some people assume that, that's a good question. Let me think about that. biggest misconception about me. Um, I don't. I don't know yet. I don't know yet. Let me think about it, and I'll come back to that question.
Right on. That was fun. Thank you, Natasha. Those were all great questions. You stumped her twice. So good job. Yinka, if you come up with answers to those, let us know. But while you are thinking about that, I do want to say thank you guys for staying tapped in. This is Blackverse. So welcome to the space. Welcome to the room. If you're here on Clubhouse, if you're listening elsewhere, thank you for being here as well. And if you are here on Clubhouse and you are not already a member of Blackverse, please do go ahead and tap the little house at the top. That will help you to stay tapped in because we do things like this pretty frequently, as in every single week. Throughout the year, we intend to highlight those of us who are in this community doing things that are great and making space and providing a platform for people to share what it is that they do and who it is that they are with our community. So today we have a special guest, and that is Yinka. Some of you guys are familiar with Yinka, and the thing that you are probably the most familiar with her in is the Black Women in Blockchain, and that is a club here on Clubhouse and Twitter Spaces, and that is exactly where I know her from. That is where we met. That's the first room that I tapped into her in. And, since then, I have definitely been a fan of just kind of how you deliver your knowledge and how consistent you are with everything, for sure. So, Yinka, tell us a little bit, what made you start? Actually, no, first, tell us about BWBC and then what made you start this organization.
Yeah, so BWBC, Black Women Blockchain Council, is a benefit LLC that was created in 2018 to basically make sure that our community is educated about this technology, as well as, we're aware of the different type of use cases within this technology, and to promote Black women in this space and what they're doing, just to make sure that, we're heard and we're seen. And that really goes back to what made me say. And some of y'all may or have already read this in some articles recently, but in 2018 there was a Bitcoin conference that happened, and in that particular conference, there was a lot of guys who were speakers, and there were like just a handful of females who were speakers. It became an uproar because the after party was catered more to the guys. It happened to be at a strip club, and that was like disappointing. And word got around, and there was like this big uproar all across social media, and a lot of females were just like, what, enough complaining. We don't want to hear excuses anymore. We're just gonna band together and start our own list and start promoting each other and start networking and all these things. And that all happened on Telegram. And then I got to be part of it, right? And on Telegram, I was able to connect with other people, and I knew some who were, prior to 2018, who were already in this space, and then, promoting that and trying to get more Black women in the space and try to find out where we are and what we're doing and stuff like that. But then I started to see that within the cluster of international women, they were starting to form, their own groups of network and all these things, and opportunities were being passed around. And, I've been in spaces where I've been the only Black woman, right? And maybe oftentimes the only Black person. And I just got tired of it. Like I'm tired of always being the representation, right? And then I'm also tired of the excuses that are giving. And, in tech around that time and even previously, there was always this notion that there are no Black people or we're not interested in tech, right? Which is false, because I went to a predominantly white college, right? But the alphas, the kappas, the omegas, they were all into computer science. So you couldn't tell me there were no black men or black women who were interested in tech, right? And so, it's just that we were strategically kept out. And there's so many strategic ways that does and has happened. So, this time around, I was like, well, this movement, the women are creating something, and they're like, instead of complaining, they're really creating a path for themselves. Because now we have a list, we have a group of, it became 200 or 500 at some point. And, it was an international list of women who were in this space. And so I was like, we need that for the Black community as well. And also the technology, I still strongly feel that the technology is for us, right? That if enough of us understands this technology and starts building, we can really make things happen. And so, creating a space that I don't have to look too much to find people that look like me, letting others know that we're out here and creating opportunities for us was definitely important. It was selfish, and I'm proud to say it was selfish in so many ways, right? Because I mentioned I have a daughter, right? And when you become a parent, you want to create a better life for them. I want to create opportunities where she can freely walk anywhere and know that her people are there, right? Going back to that, I've been at jobs where it's just like, oh shit, I'm the only person here. Are they going to hire me or not hire me? And having gone to school in Boston, like, really reinforces that mentality. Like, shoot, you don't know, if the person is going to flip on you, because on the phone, for some reason, they're assuming that I'm Russian, blue-eyed, which I've been told, right, that they expected to see because of my name. And then the last name, everybody assumes is Irish too. So it's like Olayinka with the Y and the K is Russian to them. And Odeniran, they want to put an apostrophe there. So, it's the expectations, right? And I don't want to have people assume anything anymore. I want people to know that we're here. We're out here. We're building. We're creating. We're participating in all these things. And that's what led me to, BWBC and creating pathways and providing education and all these things. I have to be honest. There was in 2019, because I was juggling, both while doing all of these, and I went back to school and still doing all of this. There was a time where I was just like, you know what? I need to let it go, right? And I need to just focus on something else, that this wasn't working for me. And it wasn't really because I didn't feel that the community was interested. It was just more so me mentally just feeling like it was a lot of work. I was doing a lot, but it didn't look like I was doing a lot, like, or being recognized as doing a lot, right? So I was thinking about letting BWBC just go and just being like, you know what, I'm still going to promote, but it's not going to be promote under BWBC. And that was like the most painful discussion I had with one of the board members at the time. I was just like, and she was like, what the hell are you doing? Like, why would you let it go? You do understand that people are tying you to this, right? And that, when they see you and the work that you're doing and how you're out here, you're connected, you're doing all these things, that it's also uplifting others as well. And so by her telling me this and talking to me, I decided to stick with it. What is it? And through 2020, got connected with Consensus, right? And they weren't Consensus at the time. They were a company called Truffles Blockchain. And Truffles Blockchain, they were, building their own stuff to educate people about Solidity and help people easily understand the building blocks of Solidity. And then, I because I was in a mind frame around that time that I was going to let it go, and because of, situations with COVID and all these things, it was just like, things just slowed down. It really just slowed down. And the next thing you know, we connected last year, and they had merge with consensus. And I was ready to fully, put myself back, into BWBC, shift my focus, and, deal with this potential discussion at the time, because I didn't know where it was going to lead. But it ended up being a partnership of us creating programs, right? That's going to help the community definitely be able to build. And that's my biggest goal, right? I want us to build. If anything ever happens, so long as we build and we create and, we add value that way, right? As opposed to participating, because we could participate, we could make anything skyrocket. But when we start to build, that's really where the pride comes from, right? And, I being Black, I can only speak for being Black as a Black person, right? That I know when we build, we don't just build selfishly, we build with the community, right? And then the community just happens to be more than just the African diaspora. It becomes the entire world where we build. And that's what I want to see. I want to see different use cases that really applies to something, because we're going to think things through. I want to see different platforms that actually are applicable to what we're doing, because we're going to think things through. And I know we can do that, and I know it will happen. And that's what I'm looking forward to. And if I can be, like a facilitator of that, I definitely want to be in that pathway.
You are awesome. Just like, we do talk literally every day, and hearing you like this though it's different, and so it is refreshing to hear also. So when you think about the blockchain, you talked a little bit about kind of the opportunity that lies here for us. Um, and then I do consider you an artist. So can you tell us a little bit about the projects that you've been a part of, the NFT projects that you've had going on over the last couple of years?
Yeah. So my first one. Okay, so I jump on Clubhouse not necessarily for what I'm doing right now. I actually jumped on Clubhouse because I was working on what was looking like a potential project at the time with the whole Sophia robot, AI robot. And they were looking at creating a DAO and an initiative surrounding that at the time. And so they were trying to create like an NFT presence, right, for her. And, it for less than a month, that project was working. Someone pulled me into it, wanted me to take care of this cybersecurity aspect of it. Unfortunately, it did not happen. We all went our separate ways because things just wasn't in alignment at the time. And instead of just disbanding, the person that ended up pulling majority of us in said, you know what, we have a talented group of people. Why don't we start creating something? And so we were going to, start looking at creating a certain genre of NFTs. And, they kept telling me, you need to get on Clubhouse, you need to do this, there's so many things happening right now. And I kept telling them, no, I don't want to, partly because, I'm an Android user. What?
Hey, pause right there. One time for all the Androids in the house.
What? And so it took me a minute to get on. Eventually I did break down and say, what the heck? And got myself an iPad. That's the only thing that I would do, right? And got on Clubhouse and, started to look around and see what was being discussed at the time. And a lot of the things that were being discussed was mostly NFTs, right? So it's like, oh, okay, cool. So, I connected with the NFTs.tips community, connected with other NFT communities and stuff, and just started paying attention. Eventually, it took us a minute. Like we did have a concept of an NFT, but it took us a minute because this concept has been brewing since like late February, but it wasn't until October that we released Cyber Mermaid. And Cyber Mermaid was more like a social impact NFT. And I say was, it is a social impact NFT, and it's really focused on ocean awareness. I'm all about educating, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's like my whole, I think that's, what I was put on this earth to do, to educate, right? So it's all about social impact and how, what we do currently right now impacts our ecosystem. And it's important for us to be aware because, if we don't have the ocean, right? If we don't have the sea creatures, then we are definitely going to be in some dire needs, right? And a lot of people don't even think twice. They take a lot of stuff for granted. And the whole social impact aspect was to bring together a lot of NFT artists and have them, focus on different sea creatures collection by collection, and then raise money for like or nonprofit organizations that are out there who are doing their part to preserve the ocean, whether it's cleaning the ocean, whether it's monitoring, and individuals who are doing doing some bad things, right? And so, that was launched with the intended purpose of not just Cyber Mermaid, but several different sea creatures that are out there. That has slowed down because, unfortunately, a lot of hype is around the PFPs. And then, Metaversable did release their own Unicorn Social Club as well. And the Unicorn Social Club, it's part of the utility of being involved in the whole metaversable tools that we're creating. And so, as a Unicorn Social Club NFT holder, you get to be like the early adapters of all these tools that we're building. There's incentives that's built into being a Unicorn Social Club NFT holder, as well as other things like you get to connect with cybersecurity experts. I mean, we have individuals, like cybersecurity is such a big sector that it has like subsectors. So whenever people say I'm interested in cybersecurity, I'm always like, what part?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's so broad, right? We have like incident response individual that helps people. Like whenever something happens, they're always calling on Simona, right? So it's like she's the individual that would help you like do the tracing and make sure you do whatever is necessary to prevent further loss to your assets, and several different areas of cybersecurity. So that's basically, those are the two. And then eventually there is talks of working on another project, and right now that's in halt right now, just trying to reassess a lot of stuff. But yeah, I think those two. Or did I miss something? Yeah, I think those two.
Right on. Yinka, so we always talk about the blockchain, and a lot of people are very, very familiar with Ethereum, but you gravitate towards a different blockchain. Can you tell us a little bit about that blockchain and why you like it?
Well, you know what? I'm still decentralized in the aspect that I'm not choosing one app over the other. What I'm really doing, because I minted on Ethereum, I purchase on Ethereum, but I do like to spend less for more. So Solana just happens to be a space where and spend less for more, and also not have to have an issue with gas fees. So Solana just happens to be a space where things are cheaper now. I am definitely more gravitating towards Solana because I don't know, mentally, it's easier for me to think about purchasing stuff on Solana, even though I don't do a lot of it because there's not a lot of good art on Solana as of yet, than I do on Ethereum, right? I probably spend more money on Solana than I did on Ethereum, even though I am purchasing on Ethereum. But yeah, that's the only reason why. And then I also like the fact that I think it's the wallet. Let me just say that it's the freaking wallet. It's the fact that I don't have to connect to a third party site to view the assets that I purchase. Like, I don't understand that. And I wish MetaMask would fix that too. It's also gas prices. But on Solana you got this phantom wallet that literally I don't even have to I don't go to none of the marketplaces. I can't even tell you all the marketplaces on Solana, right? But I know what's in my wallet, right? And I think that's awesome, right? I don't know. And also it's cheaper. It's just cheaper and it's faster. Gas prices. It's just, there's a lot of perks, I also think that first experience, like once you can get over the onboarding, that first experience of purchasing kind of makes you scratch your brain. Like, what was I like hypnotized into thinking that, the other chain was the only chain out there? Because it just becomes a brand new world. I've tried others like the Palm Network. Not really a big fan because I tried that during the Matrix whole process. And now I have some money sitting on the Ethereum side of Palm. I don't know, of the wall. It's crazy. I just think that's insane the way it's built and it's structured. And it did stress me out during the whole minting process. But I am decentralized. I do believe that all chains do serve a purpose, right? If there's work that I'm interested in, I will go to one. I'm going to be learning about Tezos pretty soon. It's been long awaited. I've been slow with that for only because I've been busy and didn't really devote the time. But there's so many different chains out there that we don't have to stick to just one. I've done Matic as well. Matic was something that a lot of us, if you are OG, you were onboarded into. You had to go through this long process to get your Matic and all these things, and then all of a sudden, OpenSea makes it easier, right? To do that. So yeah, it's been an interesting space to say the least, but not tied to one.
Not tied to one, but you rep hard for Solana, and I was gonna call you out if you didn't say it.
It's the wallet, girl. It's phantom. It's the phantom. Yo, seriously, when somebody builds that for Ethereum, people will start to say, but I'm not sure if it will be beneficial for OpenSea, right? Because that's kind of like their gimmick, right? They bring you on, and then they show you other things. It's like, oh well, I might as well stay here. But yeah, I just think that aspect of the wallet is really it's a great feature. Somebody really thought really hard about that.
Yes, they did. So thank you for answering that. And I want to just say thank you to everybody who's in the room. We are here on Clubhouse. If you were listening elsewhere, thank you for being there too. If you are under the sound of my voice right now, please make sure that you are a member of Blackverse. Please also make sure that you are a member of BWBC, the Black Women in Blockchain, here on Clubhouse. If you are not currently using Clubhouse, please go ahead and log in. I'm sorry, download the app from your app store, and you're just going to search for Clubhouse, download it, install it, and then once you get all set up, you're going to search your Clubhouse hallway for Blackverse and join that, and then go right back to that search bar and look for Black Women in Blockchain and join that as well. That will help. First of all, it will help season your Clubhouse hallways to make sure that you are actually getting access to people like Yinka, people like me, people like Natasha, people like all the folks sitting in this room right now and this space. So the blockchain, decentralized conversations about being decentralized, the decentralized metaverse, and NFTs. So please stay tapped in. Today we're having a conversation with Yinka Odeniran, and Yinka is telling us a little bit about herself, and she is sharing kind of how she came to be and how she has become a mentor to some in this space and a leader to others in this space and a friend to a whole lot in this space. So We appreciate her for being here today. I am going to go ahead and open up the floor. So if y'all want to tap into this conversation, if you got questions for Yinka, please come up and share those questions or inquiries. And I have a few. Renaissance, thank you for coming on up. The floor is open, so please tap in. I do want to give you an opportunity to talk about IWB here in a second, but Renaissance, thank you for coming up. You have a question and you wanted to tap into Yinka. Please go right ahead.
For sure. Hi, guys.
Hi, Renaissance.
And Natasha, man, it's been a minute. The girl been working on the outside, so hopping in has been difficult. But man, Yinka, just to hear you first off from a whole different perspective and get to know you on a different level is really, really dope. Like NiKole said it earlier that it was refreshing. I feel the same way because you were one of the first people for me when I came over here in Clubhouse where I began to learn about blockchain and what it meant, and even Solana and just a bunch of different things that you are championing in this space. You're the first Black woman I've seen do it. So to me, it's like, oh, she's always in a teaching position. Now you're more in this casual role, and man, I'm just really loving it.
Thank you. I'm loving it too. But I'm also nervous because I'm like, it feels different. It feels definitely different being on the other side. So I think my introverted self is like kicking in right now.
I can't tell. I wanted to just come up here and give you flowers. I didn't have these specific questions. I really like. Actually, I do. I lied. I just really enjoyed listening to your interview, and NiKole and Natasha, y'all doing a good job interviewing your girl. Okay, come on, host. Is there a woman that inspires you to be the woman that you are today, who was here before you were born? And maybe they're not exactly a family member; they could be anybody. But I would like to know who inspired you that was here before you were born. It's no longer here.
That's a good question. I may not give the exact names, but I think all the women that have been advocates of women, period, have been inspirational. Especially Black women, right? Because being a Black woman is something special. Because we carry burdens on so many different levels, so many different tiers. There's so many different layers to us, right? And I kind of want to cry because that's such a deep question, and just thinking back to a lot of our ancestors, that were women, the things that we go through now, the adulting for females, right? Because I don't want to, be too explicit. If you're a parent, having kids and just being a woman, but let alone a Black woman and having to go through all those struggles, right? But still be family oriented and community oriented. Man, it's such a burden that I cannot imagine our ancestors having to go through that, right? And still want to carry on. And as I'm talking through this, I people like Harriet Tubman comes into mind, right? The struggles that she had to go through, knowing that there were still people who were willing to give her up, right? Even though her own intention was to free her people because she saw something better, right? There's others, that fought solely because they're women, and just want to see things change. I think those are the people that I think about, not one particular person, but just Black women, period. And it's Black women across the diaspora, it's in the Caribbean, it's in Africa, it's wherever we are or were, right? the struggles that we go through mentally, physically, everything. It's just a lot. It's a lot. Like, I know our Black men go through stuff, but just, I mean, like, seriously, y'all gotta think, like, what do these women go through on a daily basis? We go through a lot. And so it's them that I think about. It's us that I think about. You know, that gives me the strength to say, you know what, I want something better for us. I want us to be uplifted. I want us to not have to, you know, go through this process of trying to prove ourselves, you know. What is it? I think it was in something that either I was listening to within Black Verse or on my own, but you know, they had referenced how Malcolm X said, you know, something about the least protected woman is the Black woman, and it's so true. You know, there's so many things that happens to us, and all we're looking for, like, we're fragile too. Like, we are fragile, okay? This whole bullshit about strong Black women, that's stuff that people tell us to put on a mask about. We are so fucking fragile. We can't fucking be fragile. Because we know that we got so much burden on us. We gotta keep moving forward. We gotta keep moving forward. Because we don't have the time to stop and take things in. And so every day we carry on, every day our ancestors carry on with the things that they had to go through and all these things. And those are the people. Those are the people that I definitely like. Yeah, those are the people that I pull strength from. You know, and yeah.
Thank you, Yinka. I really appreciate your vulnerability in this moment. And I asked that question in a couple of spaces already. And so many women get so emotional about that question, and I never really knew how deep the question was until I asked it. And for me, I think it's important to consistently be reminded of whoever that woman is, because that woman or those women is who we continue to draw like courage from and strength and, you know, the ability to even keep going. In my team of women, of Black women that I work with on this upcoming project, the first thing I told them when, you know, they joined is, don't apologize for shit. We're not sorry for, you know, being mothers or you hearing our children in the background. We're not sorry that, you know, we're the sandwich. Some of us are in the sandwich generation where we're taking care of small children and our parents, you know, whatever that looks like, you're late or something like that. And you don't need to be sorry for that. Shit happens, and we wear too many titles, and we do carry a lot of responsibility, and we don't always have the opportunity to slow down to be apologizing for every little thing that we are responsible for. So, like, the very fact that you have come up with BWBC is already in itself empowering. And I encourage all three of you ladies or anybody else that, you know, are leaders in their respective fields or have people following them, you know, to also do the same. Don't apologize for the shit that you got to do, because it's gonna get done no matter what. That ain't stopped us from accomplishing no goals that we set out to accomplish. It's never have. It never has. So kudos to you, Yinka. Like, girl, kudos to you. And I'm not with the Superwoman complex either. Hell no, I'm gonna cry. Because to me, that's the signal of strength, you know, and I gotta let that stuff out. It's healthy. You're not gonna, you know, give me no diseases or make me feel dis-ease. Because you shame me for crying or you know, or try to put this cloak on me to be extra strong. But yeah, I just came up to give you your flowers, man. I'm really proud of all of y'all. Keep it up, for real.
Yo, Renaissance, you made me cry. Okay. Oh my God! Like, thank you for that question, because man, that was a deep question. It was a deep question, and the more that I thought about it, the more that I talked about it, it was just like, oh God, it really hit a nerve, right? And I don't want to be preachy, but I think it needs to be said that as Black women, all we is to be thought of as fragile too, right? We want to be thought of as delicate. We want to be thought of as beautiful, as elegant, as everything, as wanted, right? And I have to say on Clubhouse, it's just a hotbed of bullshit. And it could really F up some people's mentality. We don't know the age group of people on Clubhouse. But I would hate that a young, impressionable Black girl, Black woman, comes on this platform and sees a lot of the craziness that's out here. And it's not by anybody else, but by people that's within our community. And that's not a good thing at all, you know? And we got to find ways to like come together as people and stop dividing each other. We really do. Because one thing that, you know, all of this history has not really put into place is the fact that we as people have found ways, have found each other historically, right? I mean, you think about the slaves when their family was spread apart, they still found each other somehow, some way, those that could, right? In the 60s and the 50s and the 40s, with Africans being in Africa and African Americans being here in America, we still found each other. And those were times where traveling wasn't, you know, afforded us like that, right? But people still found each other. The movements that were going on in America was also going on in Africa. Like, we're so fucking connected that I don't understand why there's a divide between our people. I'm the type of person that I like to put myself in the midst of our community. And I say our community, I'm talking about the entire African diaspora. Right? And because y'all my people everywhere. That's the way that I am. And I grew up in a place, and I was hearing Dartmouth talking about this, and I was just like, you know what, that's the same shit that happened to me, right? When I came here when I was 8. You know, in Nigeria, surrounded by people that look like me, right? Everybody looked like me. Well, a white person was weird to me, right? Anybody else that's not Black was weird to me, okay? So when I came to America, it was, yo, okay, I'm going to gravitate towards my people, right? Yes, I had an accent. Probably, you know, my English was more British than anything else. But it was my people that made me feel unwanted. And that fucked with me a lot as a young child, right? But at the same time, understanding the history, it made me say, you know what, that's not them. That's something that they've heard. So therefore, I grew up hating National Geographic because National Geographic was an advocate of giving us this persona of what Africa is supposed to be. But we were tapping into world history. Africa is showing y'all that there's children, there's flies running around, and they need all kinds of resources and all these things, whatever. And what people here who didn't really know was that these people were traveling, having vacations in places that so-called had huts and all these things, right? But they were enjoying themselves and coming back here, right? And enjoying the fact that they can go there, but they're coming back with lies and spreading those lies, right? And then, and at the same time, a lot of the currencies were valued more than the US dollar at the time because it was weighed against the gold. And there was so much going on and being built and all these things that we didn't know. So that when a kid starts calling me an African booty scratcher, and did I come to America and is that the first time I had clothes and all these things? And then I turn on the news and they're showing African, save these children and all these things, and they have flies all over their faces and all, and as if, there's no clothes, there's nothing, and this is the way it is. That's the narrow-mindedness, right? And so I go into all that just to say, as a community, we need to come together, but most importantly, support and uplift the Black woman. Because honestly, that's the foundation of our community. That's the person that's going to carry on our culture, our lineage, everything about us, right? So whatever you can do, support Black women. Support them, uplift them, give that word of encouragement, because we need it more than ever. More than ever, okay? Like seriously, more than ever. From our Black men, we need to hear that more than ever. So y'all gonna have to excuse me if I tell my sister NiKole, you the shit, girl. You the shit. No, seriously, thank you for having this, because you letting me talk. Has been a fucking therapy for me, okay? So thank you, girl.
I think
Natasha, girl, you've been my day one. Thank you, Natasha, for being there, for the rooms that we've been in. The things we've done, the tips you've given me. Thank you, Natasha. Artistic is not here, but I want to say thank you, Artistic, for the things that you poured into me, for the things that you showed me. I want to say thank you. Renaissance, thank you for the encouragement, for when you can consistently come into the rooms and supporting. Thank you. All of y'all in the audience, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being here, for even wanting to hear me and know about me, outside of blockchain, and get to know. I want to say thank y'all. Thank y'all, seriously. That's it.
Man, Yinka, you done made us laugh. You made us cry. You put us through the ringer, and all in the name of getting to know you better. I could not ask for anything better than what's happened here on the stage today. Thank you for being open and vulnerable with us, and for all of your contributions to not just Clubhouse, but the entire world. And I think that word is significant, because I'm not saying thank you for being you in your local community, and thank you for being you here on Clubhouse and Twitter and each one of those individual spaces that you reach out to. You have literally become a worldwide do-gooder. You are doing great things in the entire world. And I mean, that's huge. So, man, thank you. Thank you. With that said, I was going to ask you some stuff, but you already answered it. And so I want you to kind of tell us about this next initiative that you have coming up. Actually, yeah. So tell us about the next initiative you have coming up, and what it means to you to see this be successful.
Yeah, no, thank you, NiKole, for real. Yeah, so the International Women of Blockchain is a celebration of the various women in this space. What it means to me is basically it's I want to say 180 from 2018. It's consciously coming back and saying, you know what, look at the growth that we have. We have a lot more Black women in this space who are doing things that are on some other level, like Nigel Robbins, right? We have individuals who are NFT artists, right? Like Tile, that I know personally, who's paving the way for a lot of stuff. We have, people who are creating their own DAOs, their own crypto, like Tavonia Evans, right? We have so much, and it's like freaking, like, the thing is, I love the fact that our community is more involved now, right? Like, literally, like, I can point to things that are like, yeah, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing this, we're doing that. And that's what I love. That's what I love. But on a grander level, we have, women across the globe who are tapping into this. We have women in India. We have women, in all over Europe and different aspects of the world who are like, yo, blockchain, okay, we can do this, right? We can be part of this. And that, I mean, like, have you ever seen any other technology that has brought people together and created a community, a freaking community, right? So this is our opportunity to really come together as women and celebrate our involvement in this space, as well as find out what the hell all of us are doing in this space. Like, what are we bringing, right? And it's a way for us to parade ourselves in front of the general community and say, hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And I want y'all to tap in. I know I mentioned, in one of the rooms this week that, this is networking opportunities. I know the value of networking. I know the value of stepping outside our community and connecting with people that may have further reach than we can possibly imagine. And this is the opportunity to do that. This is what we're looking for, right? And also the opportunity to get insight into what other people are building, right? Because I know some of us in the room are already thinking of something, but you're having that self-doubt. Well, this is your opportunity to see what other people are already doing. Because some people don't have self-doubt. They just go. They think they go and they do, right? And this may be the encouragement that you need, man or woman, right? Or whatever you identify with. This may be the encouragement that you need. Just hearing somebody else get up on stage and talk about what they're creating or showcase their NFT art may be what you need, to create what you've been thinking about and holding back on, as well as, opportunities that are out there, right, that we may not know because we don't have that awareness. And this is a way to create that awareness for us, to educate, create awareness, and, bring in more people, bring in more women. Representation is big. We all know young kids are impressionable. And we all know historically young girls, all across the globe have always been limited on what they can participate in externally as well as internally, right? So this is a way for them to identify and see someone who's in tech and maybe not a developer, but someone who's participating in this tech space that we're building, right? And it could foster more creativity. I mean, there's going to be metaverse. NiKole is going to talk about the metaverse, right? She's going to take us through the metaverse, introduce it to different people and different things that are being built. They're going to have discussions about different things, whether decentralization, centralization, etc. And that's important. That is so important. Because, we get all these alt spaces and all these other stuff that are out there, but there's so much more that are out there, right? And it's important for us to know, to be aware, to raise our awareness is key, right? Because I believe knowledge is the building block, right? If you have the knowledge, then you can build, right? And knowledge starts with awareness. If you know something is out there, or the possibility of something is out there, then you definitely will go for whatever you've been hovering, and delaying, right? And so it's definitely that and more. There's giveaways. There's so much more, right? It's throughout the entire month of March, which is extra. But hey, we're women. We're Black women, majority of us, right? Who are hosting this. My girls to my left and right, as well as other women. And, we're extra. So, of course, the month got to be extra. It's 5 weeks, 31 days. So you got 31 days of something happening each day, okay? You don't ever hear about that. Believe me, we've been made aware of. We even tried certain platforms or certain companies, and they were like, "Well, we don't have anything to, to help you cater that type of request." But we're doing it on our own. It's created by women. It's going to feature women, but it's going to be open to the entire community. So we want y'all to come support and just encourage us on, right? I probably won't be opening up, what the hell is blockchain, because a lot of the events will be around those time frames. And so, but you can always come in on Thursdays and view the event just like you did the rest of the week, because there's always something happening each day of the week, even Saturday and Sunday. And we know mental, health is very important. So Sunday is dedicated to mental health, so you'll start, finding new ways to help you and assist you through that process as well. So we will talk about crypto, NFTs. We will have community, discussions. We will have fireside chats with different individuals in this space, and we're gonna have the metaverse, right? We're gonna be all up in the metaverse and finding new things and new platforms for us to be introduced to. And there could be opportunities there as well. So I just want to encourage everyone to come out, have some fun, network with people, because we got a wonderful Discord built by our Discord queen, NiKole. And it's going to be, man, listen, it's going to be the shit, okay? Okay? Because we study what other people are doing, and we said, you know what, we're going to do this better, okay? So, yeah, we got this thing. It's virtual. It's going to be live streamed. The ticket is $25, but we are running a discount right now. Some of y'all may have been privileged to other discounts that we tied to our promotions, but there is a general discount that takes 30% off of the $25. So, $25 for an entire 31 days in March, to have something, to participate in something, be able to get a giveaway of an NFT. I think that's worth it, and I want to encourage y'all to come out and show up.
And really quick question. We talked about support, so we know this is for the ladies, but is the event open to all?
Oh, hell yeah. As I mentioned, it's for everyone within the community, right? And even outside of the community, it's open to everyone. We want our guys to be there to encourage us. We want our non-gender identifying individuals to encourage us and come out and support as well. So yeah, definitely encouraging everyone to come out, to show up, to enjoy. Let us know, tweet it and all that good stuff. We will be taking notice. We want you to also come out and ask questions during these segments, and participate with the speakers. It's going to be fantastic.
All right, Blackverse, you heard it here. It's time to show up and show out. That's what we do. So we got work to do in 2022. We are going to the International Women of Blockchain Conference. Please get your tickets by clicking on the link above. That link is going to be up for a few more seconds here. So if you've not done it already, please do that. You guys, we are drawing to a close here. We're probably going to close in about the next 10 minutes or so. I want to give everybody an opportunity to come up once more. So if you wanted to tap into Yinka, if you wanted to encourage or say thank you or ask questions, please go ahead and do that now. The floor is open here on Clubhouse, so you can definitely come on up. I will bring you up. And if not, then I am going to take this opportunity to let you know that there is a poet for this room. I created it myself, but I'm gonna give the link above a few more seconds to stay up. Of my ladies on stage right now, Renaissance is on the line, but Natasha, did you have anything that you wanted to ask that has not already been asked of Miss Yinka?
No, I think I learned more than I ever thought I was going to learn today. I'm happy with how it went. And so, I'm completely satisfied. I don't have any more questions.
To go back to Natasha's question about the misconception, I think I've already answered that. That I'm, I guess, not weak. I am weak. I'm weak. I will break down if I have to. I'm weak. But I have some flaws, right? Just like any normal individual, we all have flaws, and I'm one of those people that can acknowledge my flaws. I may be too quick to judge or come to a conclusion on certain things. But I think I'm also the type of person that wants everyone to be happy, right? And everything to be smooth, because I don't have time for bullshit. I really don't. And I'm always looking for the good in people, and but yeah, I can shoot. I can be gully when I need to be gully, but I don't want to be gully all the time. So yeah, I think that's the misconception, that I'm always like goody two shoes or something. But no, I'm not.
You know what? There's nothing wrong with being a goody two shoes. When you are one, when you are one, that's cool. But you know what? We all have our moments, and I really actually do like, kind of, it's been very casual today, and this is friends talking, and so that's what we do when we talk to each other. We kind of let our hair down, and we just are who we are, and it's not. It's just a different vibe, and I love that. Ken, thank you for coming on up, sir. How are you? First of all, good to see you. Ken is one of our scholarship recipients, and I'm gonna say that every time I see him, until the end of infinity. But Ken, you came up on stage. Tap into Miss Yinka.
I just want to be really brief. Yinka, I appreciate you for things that I didn't even really know about you before listening in today. Despite your introverted tendencies, you stepped out into a space and you created a vehicle through Black Women Blockchain Council to enhance our overall exposure in this community. And I appreciate you for doing that in spite of whatever insecurities you might have had personally, for just stepping out there and finding a way to really contribute and impact this community as a whole. So I just want to let you know, sis, that I appreciate.
Thank you, Brother Ken. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, thank you. That was great. Always good to hear. Hey guys, we talk about experiences, and y'all were here for this experience today, and so I think that is deserving of a little something something. We talked about getting poets out for every day this month. That is still happening. It just hasn't happened yet. They will be in our Discord by the end of the day today. But this one here is for this room, because you are here, because you are here, and you are here right now. You're hearing kind of this conversation and experiencing what we're experiencing. Some of y'all may have had a dab an eye or two during this conversation, or just really resonated with something that was said on stage. So I think that that's something that, if we can give you something to help trigger a memory, or to remember this time and how you felt in this moment, that's what we're going to do. And that's what poets are. They are proof of experience tokens. And so this is your experience. This was our experience. We were all here. And the one that I created is for Yinka, just to celebrate her a little bit today. And just be thankful for the things that she's done in this space and who she is and kind of how she is forever trying to make space. So thank you, Yinka, for all that you do. If you want to claim the poet, all you have to do is click the link on the top. You're going to connect your wallet and then click claim. So that should be a seamless process. This is an NFT that gets minted onto the Palm blockchain. It is a poet, a proof of experience token, and you will be able to see that transaction on the Palm blockchain explorer because it is the same one that Matrix used. So you'll be able to see it out there. If you ever want to view your poets or your collection of poets, you can always come back to po.xyz, and that is the website where you can view your poets after linking in your wallet. So that is what I wanted to say for today. While y'all are doing that, I am going to take an opportunity to go through some things that we've got going on. This list is hefty, so stay tapped in. Tomorrow at 1 p.m., we are going to the Ghana exhibition. Yinka and I are going to be providing a wallet introduction course to the community there. And these guys are great, man. We laugh with them. We have a good time. We have a good time. But we're going to be doing something a little bit more formal tomorrow, but I still anticipate that we're still going to be having a good time because that's what we do. And so that's happening tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In addition to that, at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, we have the African Museum of the Metaverse in CryptoVoxels. The grand opening of that is actually happening tomorrow. So some of y'all were here for the experience that we had, the exclusive that they gave to us. But the grand opening, the official public launch, is going to be tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It will also be at 4 p.m. West African time. So that is happening twice, but try to make one of those sessions if you can. It will be in CryptoVoxels, and you can find that if you dig around the website. That is nft.io. That's nft3times.io, and then click on Metaverse, and you'll see the link to head on over there. We had Meme here last week, and he was our person of the week, and that was an outstanding conversation as well. And so we are supporting the grand opening there. Monday night, we will be having Wallet 101, and that is where we are going to take a deep dive into a Tezos blockchain wallet. I'm not sure which one is going to be introduced. Queen Earth will be here, and Tezos is her love and her domain, so she's going to be sharing one of the wallets there. I'm not certain if it will be the Kukai wallet. That is my hope, though, but I'm always down to be introduced to something different as well. So looking to her as the expert there, but we are going to be rolling out a Tezos wallet on Monday evening. On Tuesday, community member Jeremy Foreman is turning an age. His birthday is on Tuesday, and he has requested that we have a party. So that's what we're gonna do. The party is going to be happening here. His birthday party is going to be happening in the metaverse, and so we are going to jump in. I'm not sure exactly where we're going, but we'll figure that out before then. And I'm sure it will include alt space, and we're probably going to go kill some zombies, and some big guns will probably be involved as well. So we're going to be doing all of that. If you have your VR headset, come hang out. If you don't, come hang out in Discord because it's going to be streamed there as well. And then movie night will ensue on Friday, and Saturday we'll be presenting again. And I do not have the person scheduled for Friday or for Saturday, but I will get that together. Stay tapped into the Discord. Stay tapped into your Clubhouse always, because we do some pop-up rooms every now and then too. Also, those are all the Blackverse events. We also are supporting the Black Futures Tech Media. They are having a full-on conference this next week as well, so we're supporting them in that. If you are in the Connecticut area, please let me know and I will get you the information. Otherwise, I'm going to stick it in Discord so that we have access to that. There are some portions of that are virtual also, so we'll be doing that. I am going to be, Yinka and myself and Natasha are going to be very busy this next week or so. So, even more so than normal, we've got lots to do for the conference. So, in addition to that, March is my favorite month of the whole entire year. So we're doing great things during that month already, but it's my birthday, so we'll be doing something special then too. I don't know what, but we're gonna do something, and maybe that's just all of us getting together, and we're gonna go sit in like the space station or something and hang out. I don't know, but we're gonna do something, and it will involve the color green. So, aside from that, if you have questions on your poet, please let me know. Otherwise, I think I covered everything, man. Every Thursday and Friday, Black Women in Blockchain has a room on Thursdays at 8 a.m. At 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have What the Hell is Blockchain? And you get to hear me say that at least once during the room. Yinka goes through a very detailed orientation to the blockchain, and she gives tips and tricks, and we all kind of tap in and ask questions and just kind of have a space for us to talk about what is the blockchain and why do I care, because some people need to know. In fact, a lot of people need to know. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Really quickly, I'm sorry, I'm wrapping this up, but last Friday, Curious and I did an interview, a podcast interview, and so Curious, thank you for that. That podcast is now available on the Curious Anarchy site, on his Spotify site. So if you are Googling, just search for Curious Anarchy, and then you'll see that icon that he has is his PFP right there, and that is my face, but you'll see that as kind of the cover sheet or the cover for our podcast interview that we had. And I listened to it again this morning, and I'm really happy with kind of how that went. We had a really good just conversation about the metaverse. And then also, right after that, the next day, I had an interview with Naja Roberts on the Tavis Smiley radio show, and that is 1580 KBLA 1580. That is it's a radio station owned by Tavis Smiley, and Naja Roberts has a podcast there called Ahead of the Crypto Curve, and she had me on to introduce the metaverse. And so we had about an hour-long conversation about what the metaverse is and some things that folks need to know. So if y'all are interested in that, both of those podcasts are in our Discord, and they are in the general the Verse Buzz. So it's our general chat there in Discord. So if you're not a part of Discord, join Discord, because that's where everything is going down. Sometimes when we're not here on Clubhouse, we are definitely on Discord and getting stuff done. So don't think that just because as a club we're not here on Clubhouse that stuff is not going on. Check Discord also. Events are usually cross-posted between both, but not always. In addition to that, please follow our Twitter, because it's new and it needs love. Please follow us on YouTube, Twitch, and if you're not a member of Clubhouse, please go ahead and follow the club. With that said, Natasha, Yinka, do you have any additional things that I have not already covered that we've got coming up? Oh, I got one more. The International Women of Blockchain will be present and accounted for on the Tavis Smiley radio show, and that is Ahead of the Crypto Curve with Naja Roberts. I'll be back there again, but the whole squad of ladies will be there. on the 25th. So this upcoming Friday, February 25th, we're going to kick off the show with us. So tap into that. The links are already in Discord, but I will definitely be posting that there as well. So yes, with that said, we are all done, unless you guys had something else. I'll pause for a second. Okay, cool. All right. Well, I don't think this room has a choice. It has to explode in Black excellence and womanhood and sisterhood and feeling good, all at the same time. So, Yinka, thank you so much for coming through. Thank you for your contributions to us, to the space, pouring into us today, and for letting us get to know you a little bit better. You guys, this has been great. This is NiKole, and my voice is resting. This room is going to explode in Black excellence in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you guys for watching. If you are here, you are listening in. Thank you. I appreciate it. We might do this more often, but we were definitely live today on Twitch. We were live on Twitter and YouTube, as well as in Clubhouse and Discord. So that's 5 different places. We are simulcasting too. We are making this happen, doing great things. I appreciate all of you for listening in. This is NiKole, and my voice is resting. Have a great rest of your week.